welcome once again to another edition of Listen Up a Minute. I'm John Dowl along with my new co-host Rebertha Pope Matthews, and we have on the set with us again our co-founder and executive producer, Mr. Larry Brown. We had to beg him to do it, but glad you're back with us.
Derek, can I come back behind the camera with you? That's my partner, Derek Wright, and co-founder of Listen Up a Minute. I really love to be back behind that camera.
Not tonight.
See?
Not tonight.
See how these producers just hog-tied me? Maybe come in front of the camera?
I love to be behind the camera. I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
Well, folks, this is the new year, and every year people make resolutions. Mm-hmm. They don't stick with them for one reason or another, and that's what we're going to talk about, New Year's resolutions and why they don't work and why nobody sticks with them and why we make them in the whole nine. But first, Bert, you need to tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, again, I am Rebertha Pope Matthews. Some people refer to me as Bert and others refer to me as Dr. Bert. It's real good to be here this evening. Just excited about the opportunity to share with you. I hail from Hartford, Connecticut.
All right. Hartford, Connecticut.
However, I've been in Virginia so long now, people tell me I need to actually say I'm from VA, but came here to attend Virginia State University, proud to be a 3-time graduate from the great university.
Trojan!
And again, just happy to be here for this roundtable discussion.
Yeah, we got a member of Little State sitting beside us here.
Oh,
what's the name of that college again?
Wait a minute. Behold the green and yellow. Oh, I'm sorry, green and gold. I forgot.
Speak up for Little State.
Little State. So we're big state.
Right, he's outdone by the Trojans here.
And this is Little State. Okay, all right.
It's a shame.
You had a great beginning.
Oh my God. Anyway, moving right along, we're going to call Dr. Bert. Is that okay? We just refer to you as Dr. Bert.
That's fine. That's fine.
Good doctor. When we were meeting, we talked about New Year's resolutions and why people make them. And one of the things we found was from a guy named Peter Economy. At least that was the name that we saw, Peter Economy. So we'll go with that one.
And very ironic that the last name would be Economy.
Right at a time like this. And it was from Inc. Life. And in this particular survey, talking about New Year's resolutions, he said about 60% of us, meaning the U.S. population, makes New Year's resolutions. But only about 8% of us follow through with them. And you know how long they last?
Wow. That's amazing.
They last until the end of the month.
Till January 31st.
January 31st.
We go back to our old habits.
Back to our old habits.
That's absolutely amazing. Those statistics. That's
right.
amazing.
Only about 8% of us actually follow up on that. And guys, and Dr. Burt found this out, guys, most of the things we make our resolutions are about, number one, cutting back on the booze, and 2, getting a new gig. So I guess, after
booze, gig.
Right.
Okay.
Guys and booze.
Right. So
Wow.
I guess after we pickled our liver, we're going to try to save one of our kidneys and then look for a new job.
Absolutely.
But that don't last till the 31st. So I'm wondering, is that until the Super Bowl or St. Patrick's Day or the Final Four or the next house party or what? What's going on?
Well, I'm curious to know if either one of you made any New Year's resolutions.
Well, for myself, I mean, it's all about always maintaining my health. I'm fortunate to be a 3rd-degree black belt in karate through the Huline Willis Karate Association.
Wow.
And and that's one of my proudest achievements. So what they taught me was out of karate was respect for your elders, respect for people who have more knowledge than you, and working with people to increase your knowledge. Because in karate, a person with more knowledge teaches the other person, so they can come up as well, right? And it really teaches you a lot of discipline and the importance of maintaining your body temple. And I'm always striving to have a healthy body, so that's definitely always one of my resolutions. And of course, always making more money. having that plan in place to make more money and be more prosperous. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people scared to speak about prosperity.
That's right.
So
That's
those
right.
are two things, definitely.
Okay. Now, can you tell us what have you done specifically to reach those goals? Because it's January 15th, so that means for 15 days you've been doing what as far as your resolutions
I mean,
are concerned?
well, I'm constantly on the move. So just being on the move
Okay.
is a part of just increasing the blood flow and heart. Sitting around watching TV all the time, or being on the internet all the time, it might increase your knowledge, but you're gonna have to balance that with just being a healthier person. So you've got to be on the move.
Okay.
You got to go to the gym. You got to go to the Y. You got to walk in the neighborhood. You got to go to that high school or that has a track and walk around the track. So I'm constantly moving and just taking care of my heart, and I feel fantastic for my age. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
So movement is important.
Okay.
And-
And you
and-
have
and-
increased your movement since January 1.
It's hard to increase my movement because I'm always moving.
Oh,
But I get
okay.
proper rest
Okay.
now.
All right.
I do want to clarify that.
Okay.
Because getting proper rest and balancing that out is very, very important. I just did some research on that, on proper rest and how that balance, along with movement and being focused, can help you live a longer life.
Okay. So your resolution was to continue to do
Definitely.
those things that have helped you to maintain.
Absolutely.
Okay. And interesting because diet and health, that's actually the number one resolution. I think about 75% of the population,
Really?
about 75% say that they're going to do
But
better.
then they don't
as
do
far
it?
as- Well,
That's what he just said.
well, most of them stop by January 31st, but on January 1st, diet and health, that's the number one resolution.
So are we saying then that, with all the fitness, I don't want to call in particular names, I don't have any permission, but with all the fitness centers that are out there, now you can even pay as low as $10 a month or, to be a part of these fitness centers and all. Is the membership increasing, decreasing, or staying the same?
The membership always increases for the month of January.
Or are people paying their money and then not going, or what? What's happening?
It increases for the month of January. I believe it runs through about March, and then those numbers start to fall off.
Well, why is that? Did you find out any
Commitment.
research of why that happens? Why does this happen?
Commitment. Going
Lack
back,
of commitment? Lack of focus?
falling back into old habits.
What about this? Where does self-love come in with this? Because I know I love myself and I try to be committed to when, especially this good health thing. I mean, because, life is short, So why do you want to advance your own demise by not committing to good health? Why would anyone want to do that?
Well, when you've developed a certain lifestyle, it's not so easy to change it.
Nothing is easy. Nothing comes easy
Absolutely.
in life, right?
That's right. That's right.
So that's the challenge of life. Talk about that a little bit.
I stopped making resolutions years ago.
Really?
Because I like it's not gonna work. So I'm like you. I made a commitment to certain things, and it's ongoing. She mentioned the gym memberships. It spikes in January, and about March, you start to see you see the same people, but not the newer people.
Right.
For whatever reason, it's January to March. Now, you go to the gym on a regular basis, Mondays and Tuesdays, it's running over with people. Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, you see the same people, but the people that on Mondays and Tuesdays, they act like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays don't exist. Like you can't work out on those days.
Let me ask you this, because I've always found in my life, whether it was being involved with karate or being acting with Miss Marie Manigault, real famous playwright who trained a lot of people like Blair Underwood and others, whether it was modeling with Rhapsody Models, I found that being a part of groups of people who have similar goals and things, that'll help keep you motivated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just trying to be by yourself all
That's
the time
right.
and trying to fulfill a resolution but not sharing it or just doing it by yourself. What you think?
That's right. And that doesn't only apply to exercising, but I can say, going back to exercising now, when I'm at home and I'm not going to make it to the gym, I'll get my equipment out, and I know I do half of the reps that I at home that I would do at the gym when I have my instructor pushing me,
Right.
and when I have my fellow cohort members
Right.
beside me, and I don't want to look like I can't keep up. So so working with a group really helps. Now we spent a lot of time though talking about exercising,
Okay.
and there's some other factors and some other resolutions that are made. So do we want to touch on finances, because that's a biggie.
And we found like the 10 most popular resolutions that people make, but we broke it down to 5, and we called it our guide to your fabulous 2019.
That's right.
With 5 factors, and it was food, fun, finance, family, and fellowship. Well, fitness. Fitness, food, fun, finance, fellowship. And when we talked about exercise and fitness, that covers a whole gamut. One of my favorite magazines is Men's Health.
That's a good
Just-
magazine.
Stumbled up on a subscription, just sent it to me, and I've been reading it
I
ever
hope they're gonna
since.
send you a check then. since you
I
mentioned
hope
it.
so. Right. Yeah, it'd be nice.
It's true.
But it's a good magazine.
It is a great magazine.
Send John a
But,
check. No, send all of us a
Yeah,
check.
I've also gotten articles from Muscle and Fitness, Muscle Magazine.
Another
but
check.
Those
Right.
are
Check.
those are like geared more towards bodybuilding. I don't need to be a bodybuilder at 54 years old. I just don't want to do that. But there's some things that you can take away from each magazine. Some how to eat better. Like you said, in the fitness part, in the food part, if we can cut back on the sodas, or you may have to eliminate the sodas. It's not easy, but it might be something you have to do. You have to start exercising. If you have some health issues, you don't want to jump in the gym right away, because there's all kinds of levels of exercise, of fitness that you can do.
Well, I guess you have to go to the doctor, get approval from your doctor.
Right.
and all that.
Assuming that everything is normal. Now, if you have some challenges, you want to make sure you're getting the proper guidance when you modify your diet.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt to drink more water.
Absolutely.
And I'm not
What is
talking.
it, 8 glasses a day, I think
8
is the
glasses
rule.
a day.
And I'm
Might be
talking
the
about
rule.
just not flavored water, but just plain water.
Plain water.
Cut
I'm glad
back.
you said that.
Yeah.
Not flavored water.
Because
you know.
many people say, I drink water all the time, and they never drink just pure
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
They drink carbonated water, flavored water, even though that's better than no water at
Sugar
all.
water, increasing your
Sugar
sugar
water.
intake.
Right.
And we need to point out that the fitness and food
They go together.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Hand in hand.
We had a lady from American Family Fitness on our radio show years ago, and she said that you can lose weight just by modifying your diet, but it's much easier if you incorporate the fitness, if you get yourself in physical shape. You see the results a lot faster, and when you lose weight and you exercise and build muscle, you look better and you feel better. Now again, if you have some health issues, you want to make sure that everything's in order, because going to the food part, we always hear we should eat more fruits and vegetables, preferably fresh fruits and vegetables. Everybody doesn't have time to cook fresh fruits and vegetables every day, but some is better than nothing.
But you have a predominant attitude of
Yes.
doing the right thing
Right.
in those areas.
Now, if you're on some
Not
medication,
gonna be perfect.
Yeah, if you're on some medications, you need to find out which fruit mixes with those medications and which fruit neutralizes
Right.
those medications.
That's right.
And that's very easy to do. So fresh fruits, vegetables, less junk food, more exercise.
Well, the one thing I know from research about what you just said is, you can get fiber.
Yep.
And you're putting fiber in your diet from doing those things. And, fiber keeps things moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And keeping things
Very
moving
important.
through your
Yes.
body and having
Yes.
Absolutely.
Proper elimination.
Yeah, proper
there you go.
elimination
If we
is
just
so
wanna be
important, because
transparent.
there's some people who may go days or weeks. I've just from watching
Yep.
some shows, I've seen people talking about this, and they don't have daily elimination, and that could cause a lot of problems
Or
internally.
your urine is this color as opposed to
Okay.
closer to That's a problem.
Okay, so
I know we're going to bring on some experts and really get into
we
this
are.
more.
That's right.
But
That's
we just
right.
wanted to touch on it.
Okay, but I want to move you to another one of the factors
okay.
because we keep getting back
I
to
know.
fitness and food for some
Right.
reason, even though very crucial.
Right.
But finances. So
Lord, yeah.
what are we going to share about finances? Now, many Americans feel as though in 2019 that their finances are not going to be good. It's a little different for the millennials. They think that they're going to make more money, but across the board, Americans are not trusting, I hate to say it, but they're not trusting our government. They're afraid of interest rates and so forth. So we really need to touch on finances. There are some suggestions that are given to help us in 2019. One of them happens to be trying to at least save $1,000. Now that can be in a month's time, it can be in 6 months' time or a year's time, because a lot of people do not have at least $1,000 in their savings account.
Yeah.
So that was one suggestion that was given.
Why do you think that might be?
Well, it might be because of the economy. It could be because of responsibilities or a lack of knowledge. A lot of people are not financial literate, so mistakes are made across the board with finances. You know, we get credit cards and
What about
we
keeping
run
up with
them
the Joneses as well?
Keeping up with the Joneses, that's a factor as well. So it's good, very good to save, very good to save. They did give, in my readings, I did see a suggestion about paying an extra mortgage payment during the year for homeowners, so that'll help cut down on the principal payment.
Wow, that's
So
important.
there's some things, but finances are a great concern for 2019.
One of the things we were talking about prior to taping in finances, one of the things of we said, well, most people might not think that eliminating or reducing your debt is a sign of financial improvement, in which it is, because if you have a credit card and you pay it off, or instead of paying $150 a month, you reduce it to $60 a month. Well, that's more money in your pocket. That's more money you can put in that savings account to reach that goal of $1,000.
That is true.
It's not easy, but it can be done.
Well, I think one of the reasons, based on my research, that people run into a lot of financial problems is because they don't realize the value of establishing an emergency fund.
Yeah.
And so let's say we saved $1,000 or more, okay? If you don't have an emergency fund, which may be 3 to 6 months
3 to 6 months
of income that you're making, net income that you're making. So because emergencies will come to all of us, right?
all the
Then
time.
what you're going to do is you're going to keep bothering your savings that you're trying to save, you know, for later on, or for older ages, for you know, for even for retirement. A lot of people end up not having anything at retirement but their Social Security or maybe their pension, and sometimes they don't even have a job that have a pension, and you just have Social Security. Because people, one of the reasons is because people never established an emergency fund.
And another reason is we don't do enough to make our children be financially literate. If we start with our children,
that's right.
And if we just start helping them
That's
to
a biggie
develop
right there.
habits. And I'm going to give an example from my own life. You know, would get credit cards galore. Of course, got them far earlier than I needed to. But I didn't have the knowledge that if you get credit extended to you, that let's say that's $5,000. So I thought you could just spend
$5,000.
up to $5,000. Little did I know that creditors would look at if you spent beyond 35% of what you were given.
Wow.
I didn't know that would be a strike against me, and it
that
was
you
a
aren't
long
disciplined.
time before I realized that. So when I work with young people now, I always, somehow, I don't care what subject matter it is, we're going to talk about finances, we're going to talk about credit, and what you need to do once you establish credit. but we have to start it with children.
Yeah.
So
Have to start
parents
with
have to
children.
practice it, but you also have to pass it on to your children, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And having that conversation with children and letting them start early on, even perhaps with an allowance, even taking them to the bank and saving part of that. You know, it might start with the piggy bank, but then take the piggy bank to the bank and start that,
That's
you know,
right.
savings in
That's
the
right.
bank, and being disciplined about that. And it's amazing how just a little bit of discipline and savings can build up over time. The magic of compound interest. Anybody ever heard about that?
Yeah.
A lot of people
That's
have
right.
not been taught about the power of compound interest. So everyone definitely needs to visit their local banker or investment advisor and definitely try to get some tips and learn about the power of compound interest, or how 10,000 or 20,000 can turn into an astronomical amount of money
Right.
over time,
Right.
That's right.
because of
Right.
compound
That's
interest.
right. And I have a bank book that was owned by my godfather.
Wow.
And my godfather was trying to get it documented in the history of the state of Connecticut, but we believe he had to be one of the first business owners in Connecticut, actually in Hartford, Connecticut, who sold oil, coal, and ice.
Wow.
And when he passed on, you know, I acquired several things, but one thing that was just so important to me was that bank book where you could see every week he put $10 in the bank every week.
And it seems like a little bit of
And
money,
it wasn't
but
only
it's not.
one bank book, it was a series of bank books.
Wow.
Wow.
But every week he put $10 in. Now my godfather passed away at the age of 90 in 1990. Meaning he was born in 1900. And I think the oil company was formed in about 1940, 1945.
Wow.
So just interesting how then he had the mindset to save like that. And when he passed on, he passed on with
I hope
Back
our,
then,
I hope our
$10 was a
listening,
lot
I
of
hope our
money.
listening audience will listen to that example you just gave. It sounds like such a little bit of money, but over
Save
time and
consistently.
being disciplined.
over time. That's why with young people, I always try to encourage them when you start saving. If you get a job, if they get jobs, let's say their checks are about, let's say $100 every 2 weeks because they work a few hours. I try to encourage them to save 5% or 10%.
There you go.
Because if they start saving
So
half
important.
of that, they're going to continuously go back, and that's adults too. You're going to continuously go back and pull the money out for needs. But if you save a small portion that will not cause you to continue to go back every time you turn around, then you get in the mindset of letting that grow because you're not pulling so much. So 5 to 10%, I suggest to
Well, let's
young
just
people.
take, for example, that 10% principle you just mentioned. Let's say, you know, if you made $100, for example, to keep it simple, right? In your mind, you should say you only made 90,
Right,
because you
because
need
you're
to
gonna
set
save
aside that
$10.
then,
Absolutely.
instead of saying I made 100 and then
Right.
spending the whole thing,
Right.
and then you're not going to follow that 10% principle.
And if we want to take that somewhere else, you could give 10% to your church,
Yeah.
Right, and that's, but see, that's in
Tithing.
addition.
and then
Right,
10%,
that's in addition.
10% to yourself.
10% to the church,
Right.
10% to yourself.
Right.
Is the principle of pay yourself first.
Absolutely.
So that is so important for just being successful financially. But you know, probably if we did more research, we'd find that again, majority of people don't follow the 10% principle.
That's right.
And
That's right.
one of the things I hear a lot of people say, and even young people, well, I want to enjoy my money. What? And enjoying that money means I take a part of this paycheck and I go and do something nice. So I go and buy myself a pair of shoes or a suit or whatever. But why not, if you don't have any debt, fine. Try to keep it that way. Why not look into investing to see how you can put that money to work?
But
To
that
see what you
Absolutely.
can- and see that it's not just about buying a pair of shoes or whatever or a new system for my car every time I get paid, but
Right.
how can I put this money to work? And that's something that parents don't teach their children, and a lot of young people don't understand that concept. I don't have to spend it all the time. Every time I get it, I can put some aside. I can see how I can put it to work.
When you go to the grocery store, you should go to the bank. There's a bank, every mile, 5 miles. You should go sit down with a banker and really learn these principles and establish and set up these accounts and be disciplined about it. So that's just really important. But a lot of people will bypass the bank. Because your check come in through automatic deposit and
That's right.
then you can do everything online. But I think it's a mistake not to go sit down with the banker. And
And now I'm going to move us
Okay, go ahead.
beyond finances. But just remember, Americans think that this is going to be a tough year, so everything we've just discussed is very important.
Before you get
that
off the
someone's
finances,
putting
may I
it into
make one
action.
more point though?
Of course you.
Now, okay, you want to keep up with the Joneses? Okay. We know that's a realistic thing that a lot of people do. But you ever heard of the word sale? Things go on sale. You can always buy things on sale and stop buying on impulse. And if it's something you really want, you can wait till it's on sale or whatever, whether it's clothes, cars, houses, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being so impulsive.
Now that's true, but people get caught up on because something is on sale, they feel as though they have to make a purchase. So you
That's
have to be
impulse
careful.
buying,
Right. You have to be careful about
That's true.
that too.
Right.
All right. So what about fellowship? Now Americans feel as though it's important to fellowship more in 2019. So
I'm glad you brought that word fellowship. There's one point I want to make, and I've done some research on this. There are a lot of people, especially senior citizens, who end up depressed and just even dying early in some cases because they are socially isolated, lack of fellowship, and that should not happen.
Right.
Okay, friends, family members not only need to check on them, but if a person is a loner type, when they become senior citizens, you need to help get them out the house in some kind of way. They need to get them involved in the church, get them involved in activities at the YMCA, social functions. There are all type of functions. There's an organization called Triad. We all live in the Petersburg area, Sheriff Crawford, and I think it might be statewide or national. And they
Keep
go on a
those
lot of
seniors
trips,
active. Right.
to plays, talent shows.
Keep
Just
people
all
active.
types of trips, right? And social functions. Getting the seniors out the house. That's one of the best things that can happen. There's no reason. You spent your whole life working and all this, and then you're going to be a senior and just sit in the house and look out the window. You got to stop doing that right now. Call Triad, call your church, go to the Y, be around other people in fellowship.
great point. And then to bring families together, you have your younger family members who could also connect to our seniors, because the research shows about our resolutions and fellowshipping and families coming together, that families think they should do that more.
Yeah.
So that would also be a good thing to connect younger people with
One of the
seniors
things
in
you
the
can
family.
do that is unplug, meaning you have real conversation. It's not everybody sitting there doing it.
That's right.
I'm glad you
Unplug.
said that.
But you have real. Now you can teach, a younger person can teach me or you or someone else some of the technologies on how to make things
A
easier.
grandparent.
Right, but when you at the family gathering or whatever, lay the phones down. Have a genuine conversation and not just everybody texting and calling the person in the other room on the phone.
Man, that is
have a real conversation.
That's $1 million recommendation right there.
So it's important for families to bring it back
Yes.
together, even
Yes.
eating dinner together
Oh
again.
Lord, yes.
You know, nowadays,
I
younger
remember we used to do that.
you had to come to the
Right.
table. I don't care what you were
You had to
doing.
come to the
Now,
table.
sometimes younger people, unfortunately, they're in their bedrooms eating, or they're in front of the television.
Or they come
while
to the
older
table,
family
they
right.
looking down
So
at the
unplug. And our time is getting short,
Yeah.
and we need to talk about fun.
You gotta have some
Americans
fun.
want to
Yeah.
have fun
Hey,
in 2019.
glad you brought that up to
Gotta
close
talk
this
about
out.
fun.
You got to have fun. You can come in here and do this with us. This is a lot of fun. You can take my place and I can sit behind the camera.
You can take
That'd be a
my
lot
place.
more
No,
fun.
no, none of that's gonna happen
My
now.
place.
Take her place.
True.
But also,
Go to the Y and have fun.
Right, but with the
Don't
finances.
take their plate.
Remember the game Monopoly? That who didn't play Monopoly as a child?
I
But we
love
didn't-
Monopoly.
But we didn't
Yeah.
think about that as a life lesson. So
Yeah.
go back and revisit that and play Monopoly or some other money games to see how not only you building fellowship and having fun with your bonding with your family, but you're learning about finances.
Right.
So
And
close
through
us
the
out with-
research,
yeah.
through the research, talking about fun. So Americans for 2019, they want to journal more.
Yes.
And through their journaling, they want to learn how to scrapbook and add different things into books instead of just writing. They also want to learn new languages. They want to cook more,
Yes.
travel more, and just live their passion. So that's what I read about for 2019 as
So-
far as fun and resolutions are
So
concerned.
since we only have about a minute left, could you all just kind of summarize those ideas for the
Those
audience?
5 things. Our guide to your fabulous 2019. Fitness, food, fellowship, fun. What was the last one?
Finances.
Finances. Got to do it. Got to do it so you get with your family members, you talk about it, you have fun, you bond, you have healthier meals, and a meal is not mac and cheese and nothing else, but you have colors on your plate and some vegetables and some fruit. You make a conscious effort to spend more time with each other, to enjoy each other, support each other, laugh, and see what you can learn, and you'd be surprised of how far you can go.
And you can have a little bit of mac and cheese.
A little bit, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all so much, and
Thank
being producers and hosts for Listen Up a Minute. And I want to thank our founder, co-founder, and partner, Derek Wright of Full Motion Media. We could not do this without him.
Thank you.
And we just want to, we feel really, really good about what we're trying to do and making a difference, not just locally or statewide, but nationally and internationally with Listen Up a Minute. Close us out with that, John.
For our executive producer and co-founder Larry Brown, the good doctor, Dr. Burt, I am John Dowl. Until next time, this is Listen Up a Minute.